All right, Jeremy, we're at our final position, quarterback. So far, every room has been upgraded. And I know for a fact, that the QB room is going to be upgraded by you in its rating. Oh no, I know it. I
Why
mean, I
would
can
you
look
say?
back.
Why would you say that? We lost Strebler. We lost Mike White.
You lost my
How can
mind.
you possibly think we've improved in that room?
That's something I suspect. I suspect we've gone from worst to first, but I'm going to let you say what you believe. Mr. Jets Chaos, tell me about the quarterback room.
Look, I was the biggest believer in Zach Wilson when we drafted him. I was super excited and thought we had a superstar. And I still think he could be a solid backup quarterback and maybe surprise everyone in a couple of years because of Aaron Rodgers coaching him. And, there's a lot of talent with the kid. Maybe he can even be a starting quarterback. But the reality is last year he was terrible. And it pains me to say that, but it's the truth. He was terrible. He was absolutely, went backwards from the end of his rookie
We
year.
all saw it, buddy. We all saw it.
He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, easily maybe the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. So it was very sad. It's very unfortunate. It's an F. We were the worst quarterback room in the NFL last year. We could argue that injuries had something to do with it because Mike White kept getting hurt, but it doesn't matter. If a guy can't stay on the field, his whole career wasn't able to stay on the field. I like him. He's tough. He's a warrior. He fought for us. But the reality is he couldn't stay on the field. Joe Flacco was just, he was a statue. He had one good game for us against Cleveland.
If we had any quarterback room, we'd have been in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, other than the breakdown of the offensive line with injuries, it was the biggest fail of the season. And it didn't even matter. Had nothing to do with injuries. It was the biggest fail of the season because we had the worst performing quarterbacks in the NFL.
The one good thing about it, let me just say, is that it told us we needed to do something different and that we couldn't waste the talent we had, offensive and defense's rookie of the year. We couldn't waste that talent with no quarterback room. And it made it so clear that we knew what we had to do.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It was such an important thing because can you imagine if we would have kept skimping by and we would have kept winning with Zach managing games, like just throwing 160 yards and managing games, and the defense keeping us in it because then we'd be coming into this year same thing. Oh yeah, we'll win 11 games, we'll make the playoffs, but we're not going to compete with Kansas City. We're not going to compete with Buffalo. We're not going to compete with Cincinnati because we don't have the quarterback. And it's just not going to be good enough, without a quarterback just to fight to stay in games with a defense and a running game.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, talk about what the quarterback room looks like today, just from who's in it. Who's in it?
Well, we acquired from a team called Green Bay. There's a team called the Packers, and they had a quarterback for the past 17 years. His name's Aaron Rodgers. And he's actually said to be a future Hall of Fame quarterback. In just 2020 and 21, he was the MVP of the league at quarterback. He was the number one quarterback. And last year, even though he had a down year for him, would have been the best quarterback year we've had probably since Chad Pennington, which is over 20 years. So we definitely took a big step up in quarterback. I
But
want to
he's
say,
old and he could get injured, right? So who else is in the room with him?
well, Zach is the backup now. So when your starter is your backup, he's your backup. And I think any team in the NFL, Buffalo's in the same boat we are, and so is Kansas City. You take Patrick Mahomes and you take him out, you take Josh Allen out, those teams are done also. Like, every team that has one of these kind of quarterbacks that's built around the quarterback is dependent on it. If anything, Zach Wilson, at least if he doesn't have the yips, has the ceiling. We have the ability to win with him. We are a team that has the ability, probably more than Buffalo and Kansas City without that they have, because we beat Pittsburgh. We were 7-4 with Zach Wilson. When he doesn't have the yips, if he can hold it together and just manage the game, our defense is that good. Our running game is that good. So we actually can win games and stay alive if A-Rod gets hurt for a while. It won't be because of the quarterback, but if we get the correct Zach Wilson, based on the one we get, if we get the solid game manager, limited mistakes, we can win football games.
All right. So we have Aaron Rodgers, former MVP, a bit old, but looking really good and really energetic. And we have Zach Wilson, who was our starter. Now he's the backup and maybe being mentored by the great one. And there's a chance here that he could potentially be something. He has had some good games. So what's the rating?
Well, before I say that, I also want to justify this rating also with Aaron Rodgers. It's not just what he does on the field as a player. His leadership is
Off the charts.
off the charts. I mean, he is an A-plus person. Everything that we were told by the media, by Green Bay fans, is completely, completely dispelled in my mind. He is nothing like the person everybody else said he was. He has been an enormous addition to the locker room as a leader. Incredible. He is a true commander in the sense that he brings out the best in the people around him. He is making our football team better without even having to throw a pass. So that cannot be ignored. I would say, to be honest, though, I can't sit there and give him the grade you give a Patrick Mahomes and a Josh Allen and a Joe Burrow, because ability wise, he's not that anymore. But that's okay. The Jets didn't need that.
They were coming from an F quarterback.
Right. We're coming from an F. Our strength of a team was not that we needed an elite quarterback. We needed a competent quarterback, and we got much, much more. So for those reasons, I'm going to say we are B plus in the quarterback room.
I think we're a B plus. I can go along with that. I just want to say, but we might be better than a B plus, and we might be worse than a B plus. I think it all depends on health. If he stays healthy, we're going to rock the league. But if he gets injured, we're going to have some problems.
There's a possibility we get the MVP 2021 Aaron Rodgers.
That's right. I believe that.
No thumb injury, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall,
but
healthy offensive line. There's no question. We might get, and the grade for him by the end of the year might be A plus. It might be.
That's what I'm saying. But in addition, the fire is back. This guy has fire in him now, real fire. He came to training camp, which he hadn't been doing.
Chip is on the shoulder. Yeah.
I think it's more than a chip. I think that he went into the darkness, didn't last the full time, and he realized that he's not ready to go into retirement. He's not ready to start another phase of his life and go out like that. I believe he wants to go out as in consideration for the greatest of all time. And to do that, he has got to win something big. I mean, he's already done a lot, but he's really got to do something beyond, and winning with the Jets and turning the franchise around by building some of the other people up. Maybe Zach Wilson is one of those. He can do more than just even win a Super Bowl, win an MVP. He can win a franchise. He can start to that dynasty role.
If he wins the Super Bowl with the Jets, or as a confident fan would say, when we win the Super Bowl, he will become, you're right, it'll be a much bigger jump to who he already is. Yeah. He's not just a Hall of Famer, he's a legend. He will be legendary. And even other teams in the NFL, even our rivals will say it, because they'll say, oh my God, how did the Jets win a Super Bowl?
Yes.
I mean, if you could come to the Jets and win them a Super Bowl, you're a legend. They'll build them a statue. So no question about it.
Before we get into signing off here, overall, the offense. Now, you gave the defense top 3. You gave it an A. What do you give the offense overall?
B plus.
B plus? Top 10 offense in the league?
Possibly, yeah. Possibly. If the offensive line stays healthy, absolutely.
B plus. Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. Now you're saying we're going to win the Super Bowl, so you're saying B plus for an offense and A for a defense is the number 1 team in the league.
That can win you a Super Bowl, yeah. And then, because other than that, even if there's teams that match that, like in grades, there's the intangibles. And I think Aaron Rodgers' leadership, his hunger, his desire, the desire of the team. We didn't talk about coaching. I love Robert Saleh. Yeah, I think that those grades are fair, and those are the grades of a team that's a Super Bowl contender.
Overall, an A?
The Jets right now, I'll grade them an A minus, because there are some things that stop them from being an A. The tight end room, not having a legit star, not having a more solid, proven WR2, like a wide receiver to complement Wilson. and then just the questions, the little bit of questions on the offensive line, like Lake and Tomlinson. I think that, those small imperfections, though, to me, I actually see an A- team because I think that our strengths really lift us, like our defensive line, our running game, our Brees Hall, Aaron Rodgers is a leader. I see us being that one of those elite teams that can win a Super Bowl, but I think those question marks that I mentioned could make us, for right now, I have to keep us in an A- until those things are proven to be addressed or not an issue.
So A defense, B plus offense averages out to an A minus Super Bowl contender.
Super Bowl contender, baby.
All right, baby.
Go.
Go Jets!
Okay.